Hey guys, what's up and welcome to Z Reviews Tech. It's actually kind of funny how Homtom is trying to capitalize on the Samsung Galaxy S9 name, even though Samsung hasn't actually released any rumors for the S9, but they're just trying to, get ahead of the game, which is actually kind of funny. But anyway, the Homtom S9 Plus is a bezel-less phone that is kind of a mix of different phones in terms of looks. Specs-wise, it's not that powerful. It's at the original price of $180, well, let's just say it's not the greatest value for money, but if it's on sale, definitely. For example, if it's say $150, it definitely gets better in terms of the value to price proposition. But before you hit that buy button in the description down below, let me tell you what's good and bad about the Homtom S9. So this phone actually looks pretty good. I got the blue version, and as you can see on the back, there's a very shiny Lumia style back that looks very good. To be honest, it attracts a lot of attention, but until you see the fingerprints. If you can kind of see, I'm going to see if you can see. I'm just going to draw my finger across, and you can see that the fingerprint just shows up instantly, and it's so visible even on the camera. So obviously, Lumia looks good, but you need to have a case on this if you want to keep this remotely beautiful and free of fingerprints. So the phone is definitely pretty high quality. It's got a glass front, metal band, and of course the fingerprint-y Lumia back on the back. This phone is not actually very big. It's about the same size as the Coolney K1. I'm going to show you right here. As you can see, these phones are almost the same size. I think the Coolney's maybe a little bit smaller because there's curves around the side, as you can see over here, as compared to a sharp corner on the Homtom S9 Plus. But it's still pretty good. And the side bezels, as you can see here, are okay. They're not too small, but they're also not too big either. The top bezel is nice. I like how small it is. The big bottom bezel, as you can see, is huge. It's kind of like the Maze Alpha, where the screen, instead of being centered, which is what I like, for example, on the Coolney K1 over here. And guys, no, I'm not getting paid by Coolney to shield their phone, but I actually do like it a lot. So I like how the Coolney K1 has like a equal top and bottom bezel size as compared to what we have here on the Homtom S9 with small top, big bottom. The big bottom is really unsightly. It's a lot better to have the same on both the top and the bottom. I do have two complaints about the Homtom S9 Plus. And number one, it's not that big a deal, but it's 8.9 millimeters thick, but it feels a lot thicker than that. To be honest, it feels almost like 1 centimeter when I picked it up, which I'm not sure why. I think it's because it's a flat and there's no chamfers or bezels around the side. And when it's square like that, it does feel a lot thicker than it actually is. Now, the second thing I am not happy about is the micro USB slot over here. I was hoping for USB-C, but they've put micro USB in here. Come on, guys, let's move on to USB-C already. No more micro USB. So the screen here is a 720p display on an 18:9 ratio screen. It's still pretty crisp compared to a 1080p screen. And you have to look really closely in order to tell that the screen on here is not as crisp on a 1080p screen. There is a difference, but you do have to look very, very closely. And in terms of color, it's actually quite saturated. It's not quite as good as the Coolney K1 or the Meigu Note 8, but it's still actually pretty good. The one area where I would say this is not as good would be the maximum brightness, which tops out at around 400 nits. It's not going to be very usable in direct sunlight because of how dim the screen is, but if you're not in direct sunlight anywhere else, you should be okay. And one more thing, the touch response is excellent as well. There's no problems at all with the touch. Very responsive, very nice to touch, and you know what? It's something that we don't see on many phones at this price range over here. Let's talk about the audio quality here. Audio volume is very loud. There's no problems there. What we do have a problem with is the audio quality. In terms of the amount of treble and bass it has, it's actually not bad. You get a decent amount of treble and a decent amount of bass, but where the problem comes in, and I'm going to show you that right now, is there's a problem with clarity, and it doesn't always happen. For example, if I lift the phone up like this, it starts sounding really echoey, and if I put it down on a flat ground, then the audio gets better. So let me play this, and I'll just demonstrate that to you.
Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez accueillir Sir Simon Rattle. Ce soir.
Yeah, I don't think it's very noticeable on the microphone, but it's a lot more noticeable in person. You can kind of hear that there is an echo when you don't have the phone on flat ground. But when you do have the phone on flat ground, audio is, it's not bad. So let me play this and you'll see what it sounds like. So talking about battery life next, the battery life here is actually really good. I'm really surprised they're able to get such good battery life out of a 4000 milliamp hour battery, which is not small, I admit, but the CPU is older, so I am surprised that they're able to squeeze that much out. I was able to get around 5.5 hours of screen on time. As you can see, 540, a little bit more, and I'm at exactly 25%, as you can see up there. So very impressed, and this use was pretty much all YouTube. There was a little bit of social media and web browsing as well, but it was almost all YouTube. So that's pretty heavy usage right there, and I'm very impressed with that. And I'm pretty sure that no one will have complaints with this with this battery life, and not even me. And if you do have complaints, you might need to go something for like a Mi Max 2 or a Redmi Note 4. So software. Homtom has put in a skin on top of stock Android, and it's kind of a mix between Xiaomi's MIUI, where there's a launcher with no app drawer, as well as like Samsung's TouchWiz in terms of what you have in the notification shade. It does look like Xiaomi as well, but nevertheless, I would rather have clean stock Android, as would a lot of other YouTubers. I know some of you guys don't mind, but I personally do, and I don't quite like it. That being said, the software here is fast. I don't detect any slowdowns at all, and I'm pretty impressed with how well they optimize the user interface here, so there's no problems there. Where there is a problem would be launching up apps, not because of the software, but because of the CPU. It's an MTK6750 CPU, and honestly, the CPU is older, so you're going to see a little bit of lag when you're opening up apps, as opposed to a newer CPU. But once you have it open, then it stays in the RAM, and multitasking at that point is okay. Open this up, see, instant, because it's already in the RAM. You open this up, instant, it's in the RAM, no problems at all. Alright, so in terms of gaming, I could play pretty much all the intense games on this, and it honestly is not bad at all. You do have to put it to lower settings to get playable frame rates on something else like that. But if you're playing something less intense than, for example, Pokemon Magikarp Jump, then you're completely fine. You'll be able to play this no problem at all. This game is horrible. I'm never playing this again. Connectivity wise, I was able to get LTE in Canada, and the speeds are okay. Reception is a little bit worse than my Xiaomi Mi Note 3, but not actually by much. Wi-Fi reception is also not as good. I couldn't play HD videos on the top floor of my house, which is actually where I am filming right now. I couldn't do 720p. I had to drop it down to 480p. Let's move on to Bluetooth. Bluetooth works okay. The GPS here is not that great. It is a bit slow to lock, and it jumps around a little bit. So again, it's not the best GPS either, but it's pretty good. And as you can see here, those were some pretty high upload speeds and decent download speeds. So no issues at all. Alright, so the basics of this phone is that it can take some decent photos, but it is hampered by many things here and there. If you do take decent photos, you get some decent color saturation and some decent detail, but there are many times when the phone has trouble focusing on the right thing, as you can see here, and dynamic range is not the strongest either. And what I see here is a camera that, if Doogie fixes in terms of software, could do quite a bit. But right now there are a lot of problems with it, and let's take a look at more photos here and some video as well, and the video suffers from the same issues that the photo does. So let's conclude. The Homtom S9 Plus is one of the many bezel-less phones you can choose from, and the biggest problem, well, it's the camera. To be honest, everything else here is actually pretty good. Homtom did a pretty decent job with the phone, and the software on the camera is not up to par, and I know they can do a better job because I took some good photos and lots of bad ones, so it's not the hardware, it's the software. At the original price of $180, no way, it's not worth it. But on sale, depends how much. If it's 150 bucks, that would be the threshold at which this would become value for money in terms of, you know, whether it's reasonable or not. Any lower than that, and you're talking about even better value for money. So let me know what you think in the comments down below about the Homtom S9 Plus. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.